And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven on its new home, Edge of Philly Sports. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Whatever platform you are watching on, make sure you hit that like button, share button, subscribe button, retweet button. Just hit all the buttons anywhere you can. Like I said, I don't even know what you do on Twitch. Do you like it? Do you share it? I don't know. Just make sure you're hitting all the buttons and get interactive with the show. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. here at Bearded Knowledge. My main man, Jason Sullivan, always sits next to me here at JSully2121. Jason, good evening. How you doing today?
Dude, I'm doing great. I don't know if you just caught that, but I told my kid before the show that I was doing a show, and he just FaceTimed me during the intro.
Yeah. He always picks the
Yeah.
absolute best time to FaceTime you.
Yeah, exactly.
One time, we're just going to have him FaceTime. I'll send him the link to the show, and he can FaceTime you right through the show here.
Exactly. No, I'm happy to be here. Obviously new look for you. I like the studio.
New look, new home, new network, new everything here. For me.
Studio looks good, man.
I appreciate it. The studio is a work in progress. It's a little different than the studio I was in this morning. I moved to a more comfortable spot in the house, but we're working on it. So for anybody that's new, part of the Edge of Philly family, this is Fairway to Heaven. We basically talk golf every Tuesday night. We try to handicap each golf tournament on a fantasy golf side of things, a gambling side of things. If you've never done DFS on DraftKings for golf, you're missing out on probably the best sport to play DraftKings on. It's underrated, it's underappreciated, and we try to handicap the tournament each week. Unfortunately, this week is the Zurich Team Classic, which is one of the funky events on the PGA Tour. So there's not really much to talk about. A lot of podcasters actually chose this week to take the week off, but since we'd taken off last week for RBC, we didn't get a chance to recap the Masters. Jason and I decided to go live today. We don't know. It might be the full hour. It might be 45 minutes. But normally we are live for an hour. Real quick, though, we do have some sponsors now here at the Edge of Philly Sports Network. So we're just going to, throughout the show, bring them up. First and foremost, we have Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work, in a motor accident, personal injury, or affected by any criminal law, call David Cherry of the Cherry Law Firm. They're here to fight for your rights that you deserve. Cherry Law Firm, a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of Pennsylvania. 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. They got offices in Westchester and Media. Make sure you check them out again. cherryinjurylaw.com. David R. Cherry. That's the first sponsor of the day. How'd I do on that first ad read there, Jason?
Dude, that was good. I was nervous for you.
Yeah, I told you. I butchered it. See, it was funny because I was trying when I did the Cherry Law Firm ad read this morning for Trending in the AM, I tried to mix it in with suing the referees of the NBA for such terrible calls in the Sixers game. So I tried to rope that in, and I failed.
You did too much.
Yeah. All right, so this week, before we talk Scottie Scheffler, before we talk the Masters and just golf in general, obviously this week is the Zurich Classic, TPC Louisiana, down in Avondale, Louisiana. Last year, the last few years, there were multiple gimmicky tournaments. The main two, the Zurich Team Classic and the Dell Match Play. I was a huge Dell Match Play fan. Basically, for those that don't know, the Dell Match Play was like a March Madness type bracket for golf and just went one-on-one each round of golf against somebody. Kind of like the Olympics, kind of like the Ryder Cup to an extent. And I absolutely loved it. The Zurich Classic, golfers just randomly pair up with their best friends, random strangers, whatever they want, and they go alternating shots, best ball, depending on the round. Jason, first and foremost, before we talk the Zurich Classic, do you have a preference between the team event and the match play event? And why did they make the wrong decision in cutting match play and not this one? I'm going to egg you on to be on my side here.
Well, I feel like we like the team event, but we see that in the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup, right? Right. I agree with you that I don't really like either, but if I'm going to pick one, it's by far the match play. I mean, it was at least, I think last year Burns, if I'm not mistaken, was the winner. And it was like, it's very exciting. And you might have to play multiple times in the same day. And it's pretty cool to watch. It's like, it's a good watch. It's like a March Madness style bracket, like you said.
And it normally happens during March Madness too, right?
Right, exactly. And this just feels gimmicky to me. Like the team event, it's like we already have that in the Ryder Cup, and it's like kind of taken away from it too. And then it's like people are talking about, is there correlation, like guys that play well in the Ryder Cup? It's like, that's a different beast. This is just a tournament that I think you agree with me, which the match play was to a certain extent too, but I think this, especially the team event, anybody could win. Literally any team that's playing could win.
I think also if they were just going to go to one gimmicky event, it shouldn't have been. Just think about it this way. You just had the Masters followed by an elevated event or a designated event, whatever you want to call it. You look at the players that are in this event this week. Yeah, you got a couple big names like Xander and Patrick Cantlay, Rory's in the field. But let's be honest, Scottie Scheffler and Jon Rahm, all the live guys, there's not enough star power in this event. You got guys like Matthew Fitzpatrick, former U.S. Open champion, teaming with his brother, which is cool. But on the flip side, it doesn't really have that extra oomph. You know what I mean? Because of the lack. Could you imagine a team of like Scottie Scheffler and Wyndham Clark going head to head with Max Homa, and I'm just making up random names. Like last year, I think Homa and Morikawa were a teammate. I actually thought they were going to win last year. You don't have that. You got random pairings of two golfers that aren't exciting.
I feel like if you're going to go ahead and say, okay, I'm playing with so-and-so, there should be like a backstory. Like you should read why. Okay, Morikawa played with Homa last year, like you said, right? He's playing with Kitayama this year. Like, are they buddies? They seem to have the exact same game, which is a weird pairing. But I don't know. I just feel like it just kind of lacks. I know it's a gimmicky event because you just had an elevated event. You just had the Masters. But it seems like maybe the thought, I don't know, obviously, because I'm not in the meetings, but maybe the thought was like, let's give these guys a fun week. But at the same time, you're not drawing any of the big names. Like I was shocked that Rory's even playing. This is not a Rory.
Yeah, I was shocked that a couple guys didn't withdraw from this event. Bruce checking in early with a Scottie Scheffler question. Do you feel like Scottie Scheffler will be great for a long, long time, or do you think he could end up like David Duval? Man, that's a great name right there. Who was great for 4 years and never won another tournament. David Duval battled Bruce. We'll leave your comment up for a second. David Duval battled a lot of back injuries, I think it was, or was it neck injuries?
And a lot of mental stuff too.
And mental stuff too.
Bad. Yeah, it was. Bad.
His back was screwed up pretty bad. It's funny that you say this, Bruce and Jason. I was going to bring this up later in the show, but since Bruce is asking it now, I remember saying something on another show about Scottie Scheffler, and somebody said to me, "Is he going to be like Scottie Scheffler, like Tiger Woods, or is he going to be the next Jordan Spieth or Ricky Fowler, who has that little peak and then just becomes okay and rests on his laurels and stuff like that, or his past reputation?" I don't. I think Scottie Scheffler, barring a catastrophic injury, is going to be great for a long time.
And I agree too, because you brought up Spieth and Ricky. Those guys had flaws in their game. Obviously, they had. Spieth sprays it all over the place. His putting comes and goes. His around the green's usually pretty good, but he's kind of a little bit of a loose cannon. Ricky's the same way. It's like some weeks he looks so great, but he never had like that killer instinct, I guess, or like killer mentality or whatever. It's like he just seemed like a nice guy. Whereas like Scottie's game, now that he can putt, is I don't want to say flawless, but it's pretty damn near flawless. The fact that he's gaining so many strokes. There's weeks that Scottie gains 15 strokes on the field tee to green. That just almost seems like a fake stat. It's like a video game stat.
Yeah, hell, I think I asked you this question about like 6 or 8 weeks ago. If Scottie Scheffler figures out his putting, can he go on a Tiger Woods run? Well, he figured out his putting. He has won 4 of his last 5 events entered, and the other one that he didn't win, he finished tied second. So I'm pretty sure that that's a Tiger Woods-esque run, isn't it?
Well, and he finished second on a course that did not suit him at all. I remember we talked about him that week. It's like Scottie's good on these tight fairways where his ball striking really comes into play. He's good on more difficult courses and everything like that. It's like that was a course that wasn't fit for him, and he finished second still.
Yeah, Bruce agrees with us. No flaws in his game. The problem, and again, this was going to be later. We'll get back to the Zurich Classic in a little bit. There's not a lot to talk about with Zurich anyway. The problem with Scottie Scheffler is he's boring. He's so good, but it's not like I was trying to come up with a relative comparison, but Jon Rahm's the best I can do. Jon Rahm at a point was just as elite as Scottie Scheffler, but at least he had that when he missed a shot, you were wondering whether he was going to break a club over his knee, cuss a fan out. Scottie Scheffler, he's just good old Texas country boy. He plays his golf, goes home to his wife, there's no excitement from him. I think the Masters, they said it was the lowest final round ratings for the Masters in something like 15 years. It was like less than 9
Which
million
is
people
crazy
tuned in for the final round of the Masters.
you had two major champions going against each other in
Yeah.
theory. Morikawa and him. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy. The only thing I would disagree with is, like you said, with Rahm, is like Rahm, you never knew. Like, remember last year when Rahm came out and said that, I don't know if it was the Amex or something, was a goddamn putting contest. He was pissed. It's like Scottie literally doesn't say a word. Like he says nothing,
and that's why he's boring and bad for the game.
Yeah, he shows no emotion at all. Like he's a killer, but there's no like. Remember, Tiger would get pumped and he would do a fist pump or like get the crowd riled up. It's like Scottie does nothing.
Right.
He just
like at least Tiger Woods, he had the like Tiger was the dominant guy, and he was actually kind of the villain. But you had at the time fan favorite Phil Mickelson constantly trying to get over the Tiger hump. At a point, David Duval. I think David Duval even was world number 1 during the Tiger era for a brief period of time. Like Scottie Scheffler doesn't have that villain or that counterpunch. Like if Brooks Koepka was still on the PGA Tour, at least in the majors, you would know that he was always going to be right there. John Rahm was always right there. At a point, Rory was right there. Now you can't trust Rory in major events anymore. Like he needs. I hate using the word the villain. He needs a villain to counter him, but he needs somebody with emotion. The PGA Tour needs somebody with emotion, don't they?
Maybe rival is a better word.
Rival, okay, maybe that's it.
You need somebody that's just like can compete with him. And unfortunately, right now, because of the live stuff, there's nobody on his level. I mean, there's only a few guys that are on his level anyway. But
I don't know. Nobody's on his level right now.
I keep going back and forth too, because obviously when Tiger won, the overall talent on the tour was less. I think we can agree on that. There was not as many high-level guys as there are now. But then on the flip side of that, like obviously there's more talent on the tour overall. But like we're missing half the guys right now, basically, or half the studs, you could say. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking Wyndham Clark at one point. I mean, after round 1 of the Masters, I mean, Wyndham Clark was like shooting his mouth off, saying like, well, somebody shot 7 under today. I could go out and shoot 7 under tomorrow. And then he goes out and shoots like 8 over and misses the cut.
Wyndham Clark become that guy? That's my other question. Like, it's weird with him. It's like he's still a stud. I mean, he came out this past week and didn't really he hadn't been playing well, and he finished 3rd.
Rahm's too much of a hothead to be consistently great. I agree with that. But Scottie is smooth, even I get what Bruce is saying, but I think like it's not good. I don't want to use the word it's a dying sport, but it's a struggling sport. And it needs a hothead. It needs a villain. It needs rivalries. It needs 2 guys that just want to absolutely go head to head, but nobody's there to challenge Scottie.
We say this about teams too. We say this like teams looking for an identity. I think the PGA Tour is looking for an identity right now. They don't know. It's like Scottie and the rest right now, and that's not a great. Obviously, like you said, there's no rivals. There's no like everybody's buddies with each other, so there's no like dynamic. At least the majors are like you have guys that people don't like now, Brooks, Bryson, guys like that can at least bring some interest back into it.
Yeah, Morikawa, I agree. I mean, he's getting back. I don't think he has to break out. He already broke out. He's already won majors. I still think Morikawa will win a Masters at some point in his career. He's just not the personality. For Tiger Woods, you had Phil Mickelson. It doesn't matter that the rest of the tour was not as good as it is now. Now there's just a lot of really good golfers. You need somebody that could be that rival. Brooks versus Bryson 2-3 years ago was a great for the game. Scottie cannot and does not have that rival right now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with it. And that's like you said, you just need something to like tune in. No, there's not a reason to tune in right now. Scottie's going to win any tournament he plays. His odds, we can talk about this at a later point or whatever, but I feel like his odds are going to be insane now. What are Scottie's odds next time he plays? 250 to 1?
Yeah, I know. Like, plus 250, plus 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost laid the +2. I think it was plus 295 last week at the RBC, and I almost laid it and canceled all my other bets. Like I really almost did. But I mean, you got Oberg, who I know you're a fan of his, and he's a great young talent playing fantastic golf. But again, he's boring.
He's not going to move the needle. He like we were talking about, before the show. Like he's just happy. Like he's not going to come in there and say something about Scottie. Like I don't know if you watched him play at all, but Oberg just like every time he does a good thing, he just smiles. He's always smiling on every hole. It seems like. It's like
I mean, at least Tiger, you had the fist pumps and the and the chasing the ball in the hole
Right.
with the finger point.
Yeah,
You don't get
yeah,
that with anybody on the tour. They need maybe the best word is they need a personality, and
right.
they don't have it right now, right?
No, I know that you used to like Bryson, and, like, I could never stand Bryson, but at this point, like,
Mhm.
the PGA Tour needs something like that on the
Yeah, I
tour.
mean, do you remember what was it 3-4 years ago? What was the tournament where he was trying to drive
Yeah,
the par 5? He was going
yeah,
head to head with Lee Bryson versus Lee Westwood 3 years
yeah.
ago in the final round of a tournament
I
was
think it was
more
US Open, wasn't it?
engaging to the fans than what we're
Yeah,
seeing now.
I think it was the US Open, wasn't it? Or it was a major
No,
for
it's
sure.
got the big par 5 on, like, hole 6 or 16
Yeah,
or something like that.
yep,
Not the Farmers. One of the I think it was made an elevated event. Anyway, you get what I'm saying.
yeah,
I mean, that brings up, the other topic I wanted to talk about was obviously there were rumors since the Masters, of Rory going to live. He has shot those down, but somebody, and I forget who, about 2 weeks ago said, well, if he wants to go to live, let him go to live, but let's make a trade. And if you had to trade Rory to live, is Bryson the guy you would want back from live? I mean, I know he's a, controversial guy, but it would be good for this good for the sport, right?
it'd be great. Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, the first name that came to mind, I think somebody said that, and whoever's post that was, I saw it too, and they said Cam
Mhm.
Smith, so and so, and then cash considerations or something like that. But it's no, they need they need a Bryson. They need somebody
Yeah.
or Brooks, somebody that's gonna push the envelope a little bit. Brooks is maybe
Brooks
not.
only pushes the envelope in the majors, though.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, he might not be the best example.
Yeah, because even when like at the Masters 2 weeks ago, you had Brooks. He made the cut, but he didn't play great over the weekend. I kind of feel like Brooks, once he kind of falls out of it on the weekend of an event,
Yeah,
like he doesn't really like that tournament was there. Anybody could have won the Masters. Halfway through Saturday, hell, on the start of Sunday, anybody could have won the Masters. But Brooks, once he was 6, 8 strokes back, he's like, let me just wrap this up and get out of here. Like I don't think he, I don't think he would move I think Bryson's probably the only guy out there, and it's crazy because I am a Bryson fan, but I kind of feel like he was the only. To think that Bryson can move the needle more than Rory is that kind of crazy?
no, I think you're right. I mean, Bryson's got the personality. Rory at this point is just kind of known as a complainer. Like I like Rory a lot, but he just complains all the time.
That's
It's
all
yeah,
he does.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, I can't. I want Rory to go away. Honestly, at this point, I was actually crazy to say this. Honestly, hoping he went to live.
That might have been the straw that broke the camel's back too of the merger. So it's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah, maybe. Anyway, next sponsor here on this show, SherryTickets.com. Great moments don't happen; they happen when you're in the crowd. SherryTickets.com is easy to use, no hidden fees. Use promo code EOP10 at checkout. Get 10% off your ticket purchase. Concerts, ball games, anything you want. If you want a personal touch, call them 610-494-5050 and let them know that EOP sent you. Don't overpay with the rest. Save with the best. SherryTickets.com for the next great moment. Save 10% again. EOP10 at checkout. SherryTickets.com. How
Whew,
about
that
that?
was a good one.
Yeah, see, I didn't know which one I was clicking. I was just clicking random photos here on my screen and everything. Again, and thank you, Bruce, for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on this channel. Follow. We do lots of great shows on EOP. There's literally 8 shows today on this channel. Agree about the need for a rival. I wish Live never happened. I think if the PGA had been fair to the players, yeah, I mean, this is, we don't get really into the discussion of golf much on the show because we're talking the event specifically, but I think Bruce is spot on. I saw somebody, Jason, suggest not like either canceling the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup and doing a Live versus PGA Tour match play event at the end of the year. And maybe that brings everybody together and maybe creates a little excitement for the game.
I can tell you what, that would be the highest rated tournament of the year. I promise you that. Like
Absolutely. And
even more
you
than the majors.
guarantee those Live guys would take it so damn seriously.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they don't want to give into it. I mean,
No.
I agree with Bruce's point 100%. Like, Live was the worst thing that ever happened to golf. I mean, they're not pushing the needle at all. They're not. Nobody watches Live still to this day. It's
Yeah.
just all about money, and they don't care about making money. That's the weirdest part. It's like the weirdest business plan if you think about it. It's like we're going to shell out hundreds of millions of dollars. We could care less if anybody watches or anybody comes to these tournaments. It doesn't matter. It's weird. It's like it's almost like just to sabotage
The way
PGA.
you just phrased that really, really makes me laugh there.
It's
That's
true,
the only
though. It's like
business in the world that doesn't care about making money.
it's like basically just to sabotage the PGA Tour, and it's worked. Like
Didn't the guy like I know it's the PIF, the Saudi, investment firm or whatever they call, but whoever's the one that whichever person in that, whichever prince started it, didn't he try to buy into the PGA Tour?
I think so.
I think the live is more of like a big middle finger
Yeah.
to the PGA Tour. Let's screw them up.
Yeah.
Let's tear them down, from the outside like that. I mean, I just keep going back and thinking how bad the ratings were for Sunday at the Masters. Hell, I chose Sunday to move into my new house of the Masters. Like, I couldn't watch the final round completely, but I rushed over here, set my TV up, had it all ready to go, but I kind of just half watched it as I was going back because it was so boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been watching the Masters for 25, 30 years now. I've never not sat on my couch for the entirety of the final round, and I could care less this year.
It's sad. It really is sad. I hope they figure out something. The merger, I mean, the merger alone, if they just said like, okay, everybody's back now, that's going to be a huge like money draw. I think like you're going to get ratings up again once you get all these guys back. So that's the bottom line. They got to figure out the merge somehow, some way.
Yeah, whoever's in charge of the EOP Sports page tonight. Yeah, it was. It definitely sounds like
it's very expensive.
Yeah, it's a very expensive. I mean, when you're worth like $200 trillion, you can literally, just screw around, and do whatever there is to do. It really drives me completely nuts. But, there's not one golfer. I was trying to think of different names, golfers that are struggling this year, guys that have personality. Someone like Ricky Fowler, who last year he won in July. I forget which event he won last year. Detroit. That was one of my outrights. What?
Detroit. Rocket Mortgage.
Oh, Rocket Mortgage. That's right. Yeah. But then he kind of fell back apart this year. Jordan Spieth I was looking at the official world golf rankings today, and I pulled them up on a side screen here, and nobody in the top 20 or 30 is moving up or moving down much. Nobody in the top 30 is even trying. Like Sahith Theegala, he's jumped up from the start of the year from 32nd to 12th in the world rankings.
He's been great.
And he's a really good young golfer.
Yeah.
But I can't see Sahith Theegala having the game to win 6 majors. You know what I mean? Like Matthew Fitzpatrick, no. Cam Young, maybe, but I kind of feel like his ship is not there yet. Or I don't even know what to say about Cam Young, honestly. But something isn't right. And everything that they need to happen, like a Ricky Fowler or Jordan Spieth, making a good charge, can't happen. And all the other guys like Oberg are boring as hell.
Am I gone?
Are you there still?
Yeah.
Did I lose you? Your face went a little frozen there for a second.
I got the spinnies for a second. Okay, we're back. No, I just watched. I told you about this the other day that I just watched Full Swing season 2. And that was even evident in that. It's like they didn't know. Like, season 1, it was all about like, okay, Joel Damon on the scene. It was like, okay, a look into Spieth and Thomas's friendship and everything like that. It almost seemed like with season 2, there wasn't obvious choices. Like if you had Bryson on the tour, you would follow Bryson. Even like Brooks was pretty interesting to like cover. It's like now it's like, okay, a couple episodes about Liv, Tom Kim, Damon again, just because we don't have anybody else. Like there wasn't like storylines even for them to follow. It seemed like it was almost like manufactured storylines.
Yeah, no, I haven't even finished it. Last year, season 1, I rolled through it in like 2-3 days. But now I watched 2 episodes and I haven't gone back to it because it didn't grab me enough. Actually, I canceled Netflix yesterday, so I'm not going to be able to watch the rest of it. So it's fine.
It's funny, like looking back on it, the thing that stuck out to me the most, I tweeted, I think you saw the tweet, was that the thing that popped out the most was Rick Run Good his voice being in it so much. That was the one thing that I'm like, oh, Rick again. Like
Rick liked that tweet of yours.
You did.
Get Rick on the show one of these days.
It'd be awesome.
Now that you and Rick are best friends, you got to get him on the show one of these days. How's that
Never
sound?
talked to the guy one time.
He is one of the best in the business, Rick Run Good.
Sure.
So this show is also brought to you by FantasyNational.com. Make sure you check them out. Best model making tools in the golf business. Rick Run Good has a great model tool as well, but Fantasy National is our partner. So as we're plugging Rick Run Good for free, we better plug Fantasy National.
I'm just plugging his personality, not his show.
Plugging his person. I mean, he's one of the best. I mean, gotta love him and some of those guys. I know he's doing some work with CBS now. Lighting is better in here. Yes, it is. Wait till we go to the full screen for the morning show, Trend in the AM tomorrow. Look, I don't know what they could do, but it's also with the ratings going down, the split. It's something that you see with baseball. They're constantly making changes to the sport to try to make it more fan friendly, fan engaging, and whatnot. On the PGA Tour, if anything, they're slowing the game down. Have we finished a tournament on time or a round on time yet this year? Like, finally, the RBC last week, another Scottie Scheffler win. They got the first round in one day. It was only 68 golfers. They better get in one day. But then they got rained out on Sunday halfway through the event, and that rain was coming. They could have bumped everybody's tee times up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they did. Then you had nobody watched Monday morning to the final 5 holes. I forgot it was on Monday morning.
So did I.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, somebody texted me or someone commented on Trending in the AM that Scottie Scheffler just made a bogey and fell to 19 under. I'm like, shit. Totally forgot about that. You know what I mean? Like, the PGA Tour, if they're not going to get those personalities, they've already taken some things from LIV. You know, with the elevated events, the no-cut events, different things. So LIV has done good things other than fracturing the game. It's a big thing. But, like, can't the PGA Tour do something to maybe engage the fans more, to speed it up a little bit more, to, you know, I know I'm going to go back to the thing I've said and everybody hates me saying, golf carts for the golfers, you know what I mean? Which I know is a terrible idea, but it would speed the pace of play up. Like, what can is there anything golf can do to make it more fan friendly?
Yeah, I don't know. There's no draw. And, like, the casual fan, like, we watch it. Okay, so I guess I'll rephrase this. If there wasn't DraftKings and sports gambling, would you pay attention as closely as you do now?
I mean, I was always I only watched the majors before DraftKings got into golf.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. There's got to be a way to speed it up. Maybe I know, and I hate it when they do it in other sports, you know, but the PGA Tour does, like, on the course interviews. Maybe more mics so we hear. We've talked about this before. Just give us more shots. You know, the coverage is terrible. You get like 3 hours of coverage a day around. You know what I mean? You don't see. Sometimes they'll focus on a featured group, but the leader's not in the feature group. So sometimes the leader isn't in it. Sometimes you're not watching the best guys on the course. Like, a couple of weeks ago, there's an event, and you could hear it. I think we saw 3 shots, I counted, in a 25-minute span. 3 shots. And it wasn't a designated event. It was like 1 or 2 events before the Masters. And, like, is a casual golf fan going to stay hooked when you're seeing 3 shots? No. You got to give them more.
I think, too, obviously the quality of play is a little bit different because you have so many studs going to the other side. But it's like the ones that we're left with, quote unquote, okay, Rory's got a personality. But, like, if you look at, like, the big name golfers that are on the PGA Tour right now, Scottie, no personality. Wyndham, all of a sudden he's talking, but he's never had a personality before. It's like we're kind of left with, like, Xander, Cantlay, like, they don't have personalities. Like, Spieth and Thomas do, but they're both kind of struggling a little bit right now. So it's like it's just a weird spot. There's no another alpha besides Scottie right now, and he just happens to be the quietest guy on the tour. So,
I mean, I think there's a slight chance that Viktor Hovland could have been that guy, but he's completely fallen apart this year. Like, his game is completely lost this year. So your best chance has fallen completely to pieces this year.
Have you noticed how many times Victor's changed his coaches this year? It's been like 5 times.
Like, that's not good. That's not good for your golf game.
Yeah. That's like a football team changing the quarterback. That's never good.
No. I mean, I change what I do on the golf course all the time, but that's because I'm a terrible golfer and everything I do doesn't work. Viktor Hovland was the tour champion last year, and he's changed things 3 times this year, and he's fallen 4 spots in the world golf rankings this year, you know, because of it.
They need him.
They need, I think Victor, I mean, I still remember from like 2 years ago at an award ceremony, Viktor Hovland rolling up to the award ceremony with girls under each arm, like he was just a big baller having a good time. I don't know if the pressure of being tour champion, the pressure of, you know, you got to win that first major, I don't know if that got to him, but he had the personality. He was definitely the guy that you would occasionally see, like, wasn't he the first golfer, which hole was it, that he would hit to the opposite fairway?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was that crazy. He was borderline Bryson DeChambeau style. You know what I mean? Like, and he's your best chance, and he's fallen completely to
Oh, he
pieces.
had the personality too. He's very likable, and he does funny things. Like he still lives in this college town that in Oklahoma State. I think it's Stillwater. He still lives there. Like he just lives like a modest lifestyle. He just seems like a normal dude that just happens to be awesome at golf. So we got to hope that it's just a slump. We got to hope he's back sometime soon.
I mean, is there any hope for golf to not continue to slide if Scottie Scheffler keeps winning like this in such boring fashion? Or how about this? Would it be good for the game of golf for Scottie to fall behind and make a charge? But we've seen that, so that's not going to work.
Right.
Would it be good for the game of golf for Scottie? Could somebody, Moynihan or something, go to Scottie and say, blow a lead in an event, we'll pay you under the table a little extra just to kind of create, like, is that like a backroom deal might actually be the only thing that saves the next year or two?
Well, now it's killing gambling. Like that's like one of the things that they had. It's like if Scottie's in the event, you might not want to bet anybody else. I think we both had 2 guys in the top 5 or 3 guys in the top 5 last week. It's like it's killing that market, which sucks.
Like I'm not a big gambler in the sense of big dollars, in the sense I'm not betting $100, $200 a golfer.
Right.
But like, like I don't even understand. Like you could bet markets without Scottie Scheffler in it. Maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah.
I only gamble on DraftKings. And so in the state of Pennsylvania, DraftKings does not offer the each way option. So
in America,
I don't exactly know how it works, but I know it gives you better opportunities to win if you bet a golfer, finish first, second, fifth, whatever it is. 8 places each way, 5 places each way. I can't do that here in PA, at least on DraftKings. I don't know if that solves any problems either, but it's tough. I mean, you go from Scottie Scheffler winning 4 out of 5 events that he was in to an event this week was Zurich Classic, which I don't want to bet. I did make one bet this week for the Zurich Classic, just for shits and giggles, just for fun. In my little bit of research, last year this event, the winning team, Davis Riley, and I forget who his partner was. Shoot, I have it up on a side screen somewhere. They won at 30 under. So, it's a birdie fest. So I just went and picked that. I did a very little there. Hold on. Where was it? Davis Riley and
local intel.
Tell us about this corn festival.
Oh, he got your corn pudding.
So is it safe
What
for
is that?
everyone?
Sorry. ESPN.com. Damn it. Sorry.
Oh, that was you. I'm like, I thought I muted all my tabs.
Sorry.
I don't know what's going on.
I pulled up ESPN.com to look to see who it was, and then it started playing it.
Anyway, I know Davis Riley was one of them, but 30 under. So I did build a model this week. I just went heavy on shots gained total, heavy on birdies or better, and heavy on tee to green. That's all. That was all it was. So I went with Colin Morikawa and his new best buddy, Kurt Kitayama, 16-1. That was my lone bet this week.
I mean, so you got it at 16-1. It's 10-1 now.
Oh,
so,
that's good to know.
It's
good to know that got better over time. I'm trying to bring up DraftKings here, but
I have a couple that if I were going to bet, I don't know if I am or not. I haven't decided yet. But if I were going to bet, I like Neesmith and Moore. Taylor Moore's been actually really good. Moore, they kind of complement each other a lot, which I like that. In that one, I like the Thigala and Zalatoris team, but not at 750. That's not good enough odds.
I like that group as well, but didn't like the odds on that one.
No,
I'm trying to log back into DraftKings here because I got
Patrick
logged
brothers
out.
are interesting. I think at 25.
I think what I read was that two of the last 3 winners were in the top, top of the board, and 2 or 3 of the winners have been at the bottom of the board. So you get a different mix of winners at this event, but still, I just don't know. Like, I mean, building a lineup, like, is there a team, or is there 2 guys that would be exciting? Like, if you could pick any 2 guys to team up, we do all these the match, stuff and all. Is there any 2 guys you'd want to see team up? I got an idea. I just got an idea. This is going back old school. I forget what, it wasn't WWE, but there was a wrestling company that used to do a thing, and I'm sure it was pre-staged and stuff like that, where they'd put all the wrestlers' names in a hat, and they'd pull 2 names out of the hat and make them a tag team. The PGA Tour can have an event on Wednesday night, televise it live,
Dude, that would at least draw people in.
Tiger Woods comes up on the stage. All right, team 1, Wyndham Clark and Kevin Kisner. That's pretty boring. Team 2, Xander Schauffele. Well, who hates Patrick Cantlay the most? You put Patrick Cantlay with who hates him the most. Like, maybe that's the answer.
Every European golfer from the Ryder Cup last year.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, like, I'm just coming up with random ideas here to try to fix this, but
yeah,
it's called like some wild card tournament or something in wrestling. I don't know. I'm trying to find a way to spice this up a little.
That event would be more exciting than the actual tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? Like having all right, like televise the Masters Champions dinner. I want to see cameras at that. You know what I mean? Like you got to give us a little bit more behind the scenes.
Right. Like what is the interaction between the PGA guys and the live guys? When Bubba Watson walks in, what do they say? Like, I don't know. I agree with you.
I don't know. Golf needs something to spice it up. What they're doing right now is not working, obviously, whatsoever. What's up, Adam? How you doing this week? I just said it. I got Colin Morikawa and Kurt Kitayama, the team winning right there this week, just for shits and giggles. Basically, no real research involved in this whatsoever.
Matt Neesmith and Taylor Moore for me.
Matt Neesmith and Taylor Moore. Okay, there you
go.
Again,
zero research. Just
All right, you know what? Just for shits and giggles, we still got our competition. Rob won Masters week. We didn't do a show last week with the move. So that puts the guests up to 2 wins.
Yeah, so up to 2. I'm up to 5, and you have 4. So
okay.
5, 4, 2.
Let's build a lineup. Let's see what building a lineup actually looks like on DraftKings with these teams. And again, you can't pick guys from the same team. Right. So, I got my DraftKings screen up here. You might have to help me here with this.
You can pick first.
Because I forgot to put pens on my new desk here, so I can't write your lineup down. So when you say somebody, if I accidentally overlap them, I apologize on that.
I got you. You can go first.
All right. Well, I'll just go with the team that I picked to win, which is Colin Morikawa and Kurt Kitayama to start my lineup.
Again, why are you guys a team? You have to tell us why you're a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's
have cameras around telling us these things.
If you're friends, we just want to know.
Yeah. Like last year, Morikawa was with Homa because they were both California boys. They both, played at the same home course, the LA Country Club and stuff like that. So that made sense. But why is Rory and Shane Lowry a team? Because they're both from Europe?
Well, no, they're best buddies. That one makes sense. Cantlay
we know Fitzpatrick and Fitzpatrick are brothers.
Right.
That makes sense. Why is Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith? Just because they're both from Canada?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Probably.
Hoagie and McNeely? Who knows? Højgaard because they're twin brothers, At least we got some information.
They both look the same. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. There is I need information. Who's Joel Damon's teammate? Keith Mitchell. That might be my next team I look at here this week.
Good buddies too. All right, I'm gonna go with my winner. I guess I'm gonna go Moore and Neesmith.
Moore and Neesmith. There you go. All right, and I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna go Damon and Keith Mitchell just because I like Joel Damon and I think he'd be good for the game. Now, just so everybody knows. So hold on. I wanted to make sure everybody knows, just so we put some actual factual information out there. The way it's going is Thursday is 4-ball, best ball. So if me and Jason were a team, we'd both play our shots, and then whoever had the lower score on that, Jason birdies it, I part it, we get a birdie for the hole.
Yep.
On Friday, it's alternating shot. Jason tees off, I hit the second shot, he hits the third shot, and so on and so on. And you have to rotate even and odd holes on the tee. Top 33 pairs make the weekend, and then Saturday again is best ball. Sunday is alternating shot. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So you definitely need birdie makers in this event.
100%. I'm going to go with K.H. Lee and Michael Kim. I just like the value at 7,600. And
K.H. Lee's a birdie guy, right?
Yeah, and K.H. Lee's a good iron player. Michael Kim's decent all-around player, so I like it.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right, I'm trying to find. Oh, he's high. Who's his partner? Mark Hubbard is third in the field in birdies or better. Richard Bream is that his first name? Richard Bream? I don't even know.
I have no idea who his name is.
Bream, Brehm, but Mark Hubbard, Hubba Hubbard. So we're gonna go with him. We're just totally randomly doing this, just so you know.
What price is he? What price is that?
That was a 7K, I believe, for Mark
Oh,
Hubbard
Ryan
and Breen.
Ryan
Brave.
Brent.
What?
That's who that
Rob
is.
Brave. I thought, yeah.
Ryan.
I thought it was Richard, but Rob, same thing.
Right.
Not the same thing.
Ryan.
But it's the same
Ryan.
thing. Yeah. We're totally winging it this week.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go. I don't know. Weird, another gut feeling. I'm going to go Chris Gotterup and Austin Eckroat.
There you go. Austin Eckroat's actually played some pretty solid golf this
year. Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. So you can't hate it. Let's see here.
Problem is when I'm reason other than gut feelings.
What's that?
I said there's no rhyme or reason other than gut feelings.
Yeah, exactly. Who is his partner? All right. Charlie Hoffman, who just played really well at Punta Cana last week with Watney.
Nick Watney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dentist.
All right. I'm going to go with my favorite at the top. I'm going to go with Thegal and Zalatoris.
All right. Like I said, I wanted to bet them. I really did. I just couldn't justify their price tag. Their odds to bet them.
Now it's plus 750. That's even worse than it was before.
Yeah, that's god awful. It's not worth it, honestly.
No.
Do you count if this is a golfer's first win? Do you count it or do you put an asterisk?
I was actually going to say this earlier. So I mean, in my head, no, but they get the 2-year exemption to all the majors if they win. So PGA Tour says yes, it counts, which is insane to me.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I don't remember seeing Riley in any of the elevated events this year. Maybe he's just so bad that I didn't notice it.
He's just so terrible that.
Yeah. All right. Now this is a team I actually do like, and I think they were 25-1, and I almost bet them because again, good players. McNeely can make shots and birdies. Tom Hoagie and Mav McNeely is my next play.
Hoagie and McNeely. I like that one.
Yeah.
They seem like they complement each other. Good. Hoagie's a good iron player. McNeely's a great putter. All right. I'm gonna go Hostler and Sam Ryder.
Gotcha. Didn't really worry about me. I was gonna go Aaron Ryan, David Lipsky, but I'm off the Rye train now that he missed the cut last week. Finally. I know you love to crush me for my Aaron Rye love, but I think after last week, Aaron Rye is dead to me. So we are going to go Thomas Dietrich and Bobby Mack.
I actually like that pick a lot.
Yeah. Dietrich and Bobby Mack. Dietrich's played well lately. Bobby Mack's finally turning back a corner. It leaves 100 on the table. That is my lineup for the week. There you go. That's all I got.
All right. I'm going to go with Matt Wallace and Olesen to round it off.
There you go. Completely random. You'll have to send me your pick so I know.
Okay.
I'll write it down. Again, so we build these lineups every week. Normally we put a lot more research and time and energy into this, but it is brought to you by Fantasy Golf Pod. Check out Chad and the boys, 420 every Wednesday afternoon on Fantasy Golf Pod on Twitter, YouTube, wherever. Check them out. They do a great job as well breaking it down. Fantasy Golf Pod. There you go. There are lineups for the week. Sure to not do well, sure not to cash, or this might be the week we finally win it. Well, you've already won GPPs. Maybe this will be the week that I finally won a GPP with zero research.
Listen, I mean, I feel like you could do research or you could just do what we just did, and I feel like it would be about the same. So
yeah, pretty much. Real quick, a couple other sponsors before we wrap this up that I've got to promote here. Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park, my old stomping grounds. When you're staying local and you want to watch a great game or just hang out with some great people, go to Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park, right off I-95 south of the Philly Airport. It's nestled in the small town of Ridley Park. Like I said, where I grew up. They are the quintessential Irish-American dive bar. 65 years. They've thrived for one reason, the great patrons that they treat like family, great music, time, drinks, food, memorabilia giveaways. It's such an icon. You never know when a Philly icon will walk through the door. So go check them out. Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue. Tell PJ that EOP sent you. Check them out, dolansbar.com. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And finally, our final sponsor, phillysportstrips.com. Make sure you check them out. They basically do customizable travel packages to Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers. They probably would do it to the U.S. Open or the PGA Championship as well. So check them out, phillysportstrips.com. Let them know EOP sent you. Whether you need flights, hotels, bus trips, whatever it may be, they are fantastic. And, of course, they are running a great travel package to Eagles versus the Packers in Brazil week 1 of the NFL season. So check them out. PhillySportsTrips.com. Again, let them know EOP sent you.
Quick question
There we
about
go.
that. Is that an Eagles home game or a Packers home game?
Unfortunately, it's one of the Eagles' home games. Isn't that brutal?
That
To have
sucks.
one of your home games in Brazil. And I don't know if you saw this rumor that was floating around that the Eagles' jersey colors
I did
have
see
been
that.
banned in that city because of a soccer thing. Is that
Right.
not good? So they can't even wear their home jerseys at a home game.
So they have to wear white? Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're going to have to wear white. Maybe they'll wear their Kelly green, but they're only allowed to wear the alternate colors so many times, and they've already picked those dates. So technically, they're not allowed to change that. So yeah, they might have to go white. And season ticket holders didn't get a break on their you pay for the whole season. Doesn't matter if one of the game gets moved to Brazil. You still if it's $1,000, it's a lot more than $1,000 for 9 games. You're basically spending $1,000 now for 8 games.
Same thing about
Totally got
London.
effed on that.
It sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I don't think we solved any problems tonight, on how to save the PGA Tour. I really wanted to get, an answer on how to save it. And I don't think, as long as enough stars are over on the live, as long as they're not mixing together, golf is doomed at this point.
Yeah, and it needs a villain. Like we said, needs a villain.
It needs the villain, and it's just not getting it. And I just don't know how else to solve the problems of the tour, because it's just not going well. I did run a poll on the Fairway to Heaven Twitter page. Make sure you're following us at Fairway, the number 2 Heaven _ on Twitter. And I did run a poll about the Dell Match play versus the Zurich. About 30 some votes on it. Dell Match play more enjoyable to 60% of the people that voted. Zurich had 9%. 18% said both events suck. And then, then 12% said they both kick ass. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I missed the Dell Match play. I thoroughly enjoyed the course. I forget, it's down in Texas somewhere. That Dell Match play course was a really fun course. Some really quirky holes that were fun to watch. I miss it. And I missed it this year. And this Zurich Classic, I guarantee I'm not watching the final round of this on Sunday. There's no chance.
This is a bye week, I think, for everybody.
Yeah, there's a reason why 98% of golf podcasters skip doing shows this week.
Yeah.
Sucks, I just missed Jason because we didn't do a show last week. So I said, whether you like it or not, you got to do a show with me this week.
Exactly.
Yeah. So real quick, before we wrap this up, because I said I didn't know if we'd go an hour. We got 10 more minutes. I'm just going to throw it out there. It is NFL draft week. So we're doing a golf show, but we'll talk a little NFL draft because everything on EOP Sports. Make sure you check out their website, EOPsports.com. Everything's draft related this week. How are the Lions going to do in the draft? I know you commented on one of my mock drafts that I posted out there. The Lions have done really damn well in the draft the last couple of years, really setting the team up for future success. How you feeling about the rumors surrounding your Detroit Lions? And I will say this about them, that every mock draft I run on Pro Football Network for the Eagles has the Lions calling the Eagles and offering trades with them.
It's wild. It seems like there's been rumors around here the past couple of days about them trading up to 2 or 3. I don't know why you would do that. There's no dominant defensive player in this one. If there was a dominant rush end, I would say by all means do that. But you're in a position now that you don't have to do that. We still need a rush end.
27 or 29 or something like that?
I think it's 27, yeah.
So,
you can still get a stud. Like you just said, too, our GM, Brad Holmes, one of the best drafters, if not the best drafting GM in the NFL right now. The first 4 picks last year were Gibbs, Campbell, Laporta, and Brian Branch. That's pretty damn solid, right? So
that's a little bit better than solid. That's really good.
You got 4 studs in your first 4 picks. This guy's a good draft. I'm on Ross St. Brown in the 4th round. He's proven that he can draft teams. So don't trade up to 2, please. Please don't do it.
Right.
Get the best defensive lineman that's still there, or the best corner still there.
I think it's 27 because they keep offering the Eagles 27 and something else to move up to 22. And between 22 and 27, 2 of the top defensive tackles are always on the board. One of the top safeties, one of the top cornerbacks. There's so much defense. 4 top edge rushers always available because everybody drafts quarterbacks and stuff like that way too early in the draft. So there's a lot that can happen. Do you have opinions on those top quarterbacks in this draft? Obviously, one played down the road at Michigan, J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, Caleb Williams is going number 1. You got Drake May. You got May, and you got what's it? McDaniels. I think it's going to be a lot similar to Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance draft class. Do you agree or disagree with that?
100% that's the case. I don't feel like you have. They're like, oh, the depth is so great. Yeah, but you don't have the one obvious one. I think. I don't think Caleb Williams is as obvious as people think it is. And I was actually surprised that I don't know. Justin Fields is Caleb Williams going to be that much better than Justin Fields? Maybe, but I don't know. I
think
like,
Caleb Williams shows a lot of immaturity when you listen to him talk. He's going to a really terrible Bears organization. I know they're trying to turn the page there, but it's been pretty terrible for a long time. I think he's got at max, he's an average quarterback, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's funny too that so many people are just counting on them being good. It's like based on what? They haven't developed anybody in the past long time. And then Caleb Williams, like you said, it's like, I don't know if you saw the movie Draft Day. Nobody went to his birthday party. He's like that guy. Like that his teammates.
Hey, hold on. Nobody came to my birthday parties either.
Teammates don't even like him. So I don't know. I'm worried about any of those guys. I think there's rumor now that the Giants want Drake May, which is interesting. Like that's interesting. But I don't know. I don't have faith in any of them really, to be honest with you. And I don't. JJ McCarthy, I think, is interesting, but I don't think he's a top 5 guy. I really don't.
Yeah, no.
It's weird.
I have seen a lot of rumors of the Vikings trading up with the Chargers for Justin Herbert, and then Harbaugh gets his guy McCarthy. I think that would be a terrible decision. Again, I don't watch a lot of college football, but I will say this, and I've said this on my show a bunch of times. I would rather late in the first round, early in the second round, take Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. over the other 4 top guys. I think because you draft them so late in the first, early in the second, you can ease them along a little bit more. You don't have to rush them into it. But I also feel like they might be more NFL ready, those 2 guys.
I don't like Penix either, to be honest with you. Just because I don't know. I don't like his mechanics, and I don't like his no-show in the title game. I don't love that. But I don't. I
he does have injury concerns as well.
Yeah. No, I don't. I see your concerns with that, but I don't know. Can I just say one thing too? I feel weird. It feels weird being on this side of a draft. Like I've never in my lifetime been on this side of a draft where it's like we can specifically pick for need. Like one need position. We don't have to pick best player available. It's like you're picking late in the first round. We've never done that in my lifetime.
Well,
so it's like
let me tell you something. That doesn't always work out. The Eagles have been in draft for need mode for a long time. And sometimes when they draft for need, they reach for players that shouldn't be taken. And then you end up with a Jalen Reagor or JJ Ortega-Whiteside, guys that just straight terrible. Marcus Smith, who Danny Watkins is the best one in Philadelphia. He ended up quitting football and becoming a firefighter in Canada 2 years after we drafted him in the first round. So sometimes when you draft for need, you don't necessarily get the best player all the time.
It's more so just like the Lions draft has always been like, oh my God, this is the best day of the year for a Lions fan. It's like now we have
they learned not to draft wide receivers in the top 5 17 years in a row.
Yeah. Now we have a good team, and it's just weird. It's like, it's a draft. Okay, cool. Like,
I mean, how many wide receivers did the Lions draft there? They drafted like 4 guys with the last name Williams, I think.
Charles Rogers, Roy Williams, and Mike Williams, 3 years in a row. Jesus.
And they all stunk.
And they all sucked. Yeah.
They were all terrible.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up right here. We'll be back next week. More of a direct show, talking the tournament, breaking it down, X's and O's. Maybe we'll try to find a guest on the show. But make sure you stay locked into EOP Sports. Again, coming up at 7 o'clock, we got the Kelly Green Hour. 8 o'clock, Birds of the Round Table. 9 o'clock, Shane Haff and Company doing Chalk Talk. And, of course, as soon as the final out of the game, post-game Phillies show right here, EOP Sports. Look at the whole lineup all week long. Live draft shows Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So much happening, so much different content. And, of course, Fairway to Heaven Tuesday, 6 o'clock. And, of course, trending in the AM Monday through Friday.
Are you going to be live on the draft show?
What's that?
Are you going to be live on the draft show?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Like, it's very repetitive because I don't do many post-game shows because of the fact that I talk about it the next morning. The draft show, maybe I'll pop my head in, but then I'm just kind of going to be re-talking about the same thing the next morning. So kind of let I'm the star. I don't want to take anybody's time away. I got enough time to talk on this channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You're really laughing at that. I'm the star.
Listen, it's like right Leo. There. It's like Leo DiCaprio showing up for the award show. It's like you don't want to steal the spotlight. Like,
you don't. No. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up right there. Fairway to Heaven. Make sure you hit the like button, the share, subscribe, follow anywhere you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, wherever we're at, Twitch, all those channels. I am Phil Stiefel. I've got Jason Sullivan right now. Shout out to all our sponsors, PhillySportsTrips.com, SherryTickets.com, Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park, Sherry Law Firm, FantasyNational.com, and Fantasy Golf Pod. For Jason, I'm Phil Stiefel. We'll see you guys next week.